Start. Okay, verifying trig identities. Okay, so we started the simplifying these trig expressions without an equal sign. We're going to throw one in there now. Okay, so again, heading towards solving trig equations. We just have to have a whole bunch of tools in our toolbox there to do so. Okay. So we'll start. Our book likes to start really difficult on these, and I don't. So let's do that one if I didn't assign it. Oh, I did. Bummer. 5, 6. All right, let's start with okay. We'll start here. Okay. So basically what we're giving you, instead of just saying, this is what I gave you the other day, right? And I asked you to simplify it. Well, now I'm giving you the answer. Okay, so you just have to fill in the middle. So it's the same idea. You're just proving the conclusion. Okay, so we need to take this, mess with it, and get that. Yeah? Okay, so, and we already put this one up as an expression, and I worked it through. So, again, tip number 1 is change it to sine and cosine. That is 1 over sine. And okay. And there's, really at this point, I think everything we're giving you is going to work, but we haven't shown it yet. So you can kind of put a little question mark there. All right, so that, remember, that's tip 1. That doesn't always work. Okay, I'll show you an example where you can get stuck in the mud sometimes, but most of the time it's going to be a pretty good bet. All right, then we have fractions, right? So, yep. And then, of course, we can, so that's tip 2, fraction. Arithmetic, okay. Hopefully this will help you improve on that so it becomes automatic, but okay. We can cross those out, yeah? Yep, check, we're done. Okay. All right, so it's not much different than you've been doing. I just give you the answer. Okay. You could have, yeah. Uh-huh. Yep, start to finish. Okay. Let's try one that's a little more difficult. Okay. Here's a good one. This gives us tip number 3. Okay. We're going to verify this. This is one spot where sine and cosine will not help you. It will actually lead you down a rabbit trail that makes it a lot more difficult. Okay, me either. Such is life, right? So when you look at these, you're basically saying, what can I do? Right? So your automatic might be change it to sine and cosine. Right? So if we did that, they do. What number are you left with, though? Yeah, it's going to be 1. So tan is sine over cosine. Okay. So not a bad thought changing to sine and cosine, because it actually shows you something you can do here, right? And we end up with 1. Okay. All right. So that would be a benefit of changing this one.
You just changed the cotangent form of tangent and figure out that one.
You could have, yeah. That works too. Let's see. There are lots of ways to tackle these. Okay. If you're trying something and it doesn't work, look at it again. Bam. Okay. Oh, hey, that works. Right. I'm going to write this down as is. Do you have any ideas what we might try next? Times what? That would make it really nasty. It is a thought. So, but remember, we solved a rational function in the warm-up. What did we do? Multiplied by the denominator? Okay, so that's an option. So let's try it. That actually works pretty well. Okay, so we distribute here, and we get 1 minus cosine squared x equals sine squared x. Yeah? Yes, ma'am. Bam. Yeah, I'm going to show you that one next. Yep. Does this look familiar at all? Yes, this is part of the Pythagorean identity for sine squared and cosine squared. So we know this is sine squared x, right? So we're verified, right? Check. Okay. So this is one method for this problem. I bet we can do this in 2 steps or less. Anybody have any ideas on how to do that? I'll show you a different way here. There's nothing wrong with this whatsoever.
There's just an easier way.
There is an easier way. Okay, see these two? I don't have a smart remark for that right yet. Okay, look at the Pythagorean identity for secant squared and tangent squared. It's just a few pages back in 7.1 or in your notes, maybe. Or on your sheet that I gave you. Lots of the backside of your unit circle handout's probably on there. And Sapphire did just mention it. Okay. So this would be, what's the identity relating secant and tangent? Secant squared and tangent squared. Am I sorry? It's tan squared plus 1 equals secant squared. Okay. That's very useful here. Okay. So here's method 2. Secant squared x minus 1 equals tan squared. Does that match the identity yet? No. It's tan squared plus 1 equals secant squared. Okay, so 2 ways to do this. You can add 1. Okay, frankly, that's the easy way. And now we're at an identity. You're good. And it was 3 steps. Oops. I did not lie to you. I guess it could be construed as that. Okay. So there's one way. You could also replace secant squared with tan squared plus 1. So you get plus 1 minus 1 and it's 0. Right, so, I mean, there are 3 different ways to do this one problem. Okay, big idea, start to finish. Okay. And make sure your work in the middle is correct. That's what we're looking for. Okay. I'm going to show you one more for with a number in it. Solving a trig equation, a basic one. And then Tuesday we're going to hit a few more of these that are more difficult. So I want to start you out with the easy ones so you get used to seeing them. Okay. Let's see what the directions say here. Find a numerical value of one trig function of x if cotangent x over cosine x equals 2. Okay. I already forgot. What the heck? Cotangent over cosine. Yeah, okay. Okay. The directions here, why don't I write them down? Just find a numerical value sometimes we can get really mathematical and we don't need to. That's his one case. Of one trig function of x that's it. Anybody translate that for us? This means simplify cotangent x over cosine x. That's what that means. Okay. Very mathish, Nice English, right? So can we simplify that? Don't mess with the 2. Just leave it alone. Cotangent is cosine over sine. You're going to get really good at this and probably be able to do it. I'm going to make that a fraction just so it's easier to see. Sometimes this is a good thing to do. And what? That's all I heard. It's fractions, so copy, dot, flip, right? Fraction division. Equals 2. And we can see these cancel, and we get 1 over sine x, which is, David, you get to answer it this time. Yeah, you got it. And you're done. Done. The point of this is later in the chapter, I'm going to show you how to calculate for x. Okay, that's what this whole chapter is about. What value of x makes this true? But now we're getting to this point, we're stopping. Okay. So that mess of mathematical writing means simplify. It's the same thing we've been doing. You just got to kind of translate it into action, okay? So this is the simple version. I'll think there are only 3 or 4 of them on the homework. So hopefully it's just classwork for you. Okay, this is due Tuesday. I don't like a lot of the problems the book has for the more difficult stuff, so Tuesday I'll actually give you a worksheet to do. That's a lot more, it's better practice. Okay, so we're going to score that Tuesday just to see if you get the basics. It's kind of my check, my dipstick for you, and hopefully you got it. Let me know if you have any questions. And hopefully you'll finish before class is out.